What's going on, everyone? Sal here with another video. Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to talk about 2 and 5 day iron condors. Now, Sal, why are you talking about 2 and 5 day iron condors? Well, this is one. The biggest complaint that I get from people who have bought my course is that it takes too long to make a trade. They don't want to wait 45 days. They don't want to wait 60 days. And the second complaint is that they can't get approved for futures. Now, number two is really just a matter of you putting in information a certain kind of way. Number one, I can understand. I can fully understand because 45 days, 60 days is a long time, and it requires you to be incredibly disciplined in your approach. Now, it's a high probability setup. It's typically for individuals who have, significant capital, at least $5,000 or more. And I can understand how you could be frustrated by having to wait, right? Even though you should be waiting because you don't have a lot of capital. If you're someone who doesn't have a lot, right? You should be in trades that take, a long time, that have high probabilities of success because you can't afford to lose a lot of money. But that doesn't mean that I shouldn't create a strategy that gives you a shorter time frame and the probability, or at least a chance of being successful in a very short-term trade. So I'm developing a 2 to 5 day iron condor system here. When we look at the SPX, I've really decided after some study that the SPX is probably the best product to do this in because these are European styled options that expire into cash. So you can leave this product on, right? This trade on literally until it goes to zero and it expires, and the very next day the money is sitting in your account, right? If you are in the green. Now, when we look up the chart here of SPX, we can see, and of the market in general, the S&P 500 in general, we can see that, basically from April 7th, we've been in a 200-point range, right? If you bought a call option, here, you probably didn't make any money, because many people buy weekly calls. So they basically made nothing. If you're a weekly, call option buyer, you practically made no money. At all. I mean, really, the only people who've been able to win over the last month have been call sellers, right? Call sellers, iron condor traders, non-directional traders for the most part, have really eaten the month of April alive, right? Because we haven't really done much, right? So I have basically posted recent resistance and recent support for the S&P 500. When we're trading iron condors, it requires price to stay within a certain zone, right? And that zone is basically where we make our profit. And there are two things in trading, in options in general, that we must understand. One, that prices will fluctuate, and two, options expire. In all trading, we are making educated guesses, right? Nobody can predict the future, right? So we want to get out of the price prediction business and we want to get into the probability business, right? We want to know what is the probability of SPX being either above 2954 or below 2722, right? So we use indicators, right, to help us figure out, what the chances could possibly be. So as we look at RSI below, we can see that, we're clearly having trouble building momentum on these higher time frames as a 3-hour chart, right? So we're struggling along, but we're still above the 25 moving average, right? As of right now, we're still above the 25 moving average. So we're still going to give bias to the top side, right? So we're still going to give bias to the call side of any iron condor trade because one, that's what the indicators are telling us, right? Even though we've got some a bit of disconnection here between the RSI and the price action, right? We're still going to give bias to the top, to the call side of the trade, right? Now, I've already put myself in an iron condor, and I'm going to show you that, a very small one, just because I'm continuing to test this strategy. So as we look here, this is the option I'm in right now, right? Now, this is an option that a iron condor that I put in yesterday. Now, this was for basically 1 day, next day expiration. As you can see, it's got 0 here. So this was a high probability 50% trade. That's not going to net me a lot, right? It's not going to net me a lot. But the idea is that prices fluctuate. But what is the likelihood of SPX moving 3.5% up or down from wherever you are right then and there, right? When I gather SPX and recent price action, we come to find out it's really less than 30%. So it's less than a 3 in 10 chance that the S&P 500 will move 3.5% up or down in a 3-day period. Now, this is using historical data going before COVID, right? Before COVID. And obviously, we're still in the midst of COVID, so I can't use March, 25th or so till now, because that's really, when I use from March until today, it's the month of March skews the data. It's like almost like 60% chance that we're going to move 3.5% up or down. And it may feel like that. It may feel like that. But we know that's not the stock market typically. We know that's not the stock market typically, where you have 4%, 3% moves every other day. Although it's felt like that. We do have a VIX that's in decline. All right, let me go and show you the VIX. We do have a VIX that's in decline. All right, although still historically low at 32. All right, at 32, it's still relatively high. All right, it's still relatively high for historical purposes. But the idea of putting these iron condors on is that, can we develop winning trades in a very short period of time? Just simply giving ourselves, the potential of being right over a small period of time by betting on both sides of the trade? The answer is yes. This trade is going to be a winning trade if we go ahead and open up where I think we're going to open up, which is about 28.77. So we're about right here, right? And again, this expires today. So this is going to be a winning trade. And the parameters are anywhere between 2 to 5 days, right? Giving yourself a probability of anywhere between 51 to 56%. And that means from wherever the price of SPX is, giving yourself 3.5, right? 3.5 to 4% on each side of the price action. What's great about this, of course, is that you can cut early, right? You can cut early. You don't necessarily have to wait the full extent or till expiration, right? If you are up significantly, right, or at least if you reach 50% of max profit, or even 30% of max profit, you can take it and run. Take your money and run by all means. The idea of doing a trade like this is that you are concentrating capital in a certain zone, but you can also still defend it if your iron condor gets broken or challenged, right? So say this iron condor, which this one again is a very small example. I've barely been in this for not even 24 hours, right? So not even 24 hours. You can see here it literally says 0 days, right? So I literally just put this on yesterday during the trading day. All right, so there wasn't much capital to win here. But as I continue to put this together, I'm coming up with a clear vision that this could possibly work. And here's why. If you concentrate capital in a certain area and then we start to get challenged, as I teach in my course, you can always then begin to create, a protection, right, or buy a vertical spread for the end of whatever side is being challenged. So for example, let's say your put side is being challenged, then we would go ahead and sell calls, right? We'd just go ahead and sell calls. And again, sorry for these black things that are updating here. That's just the numbers updating, but the screen recorder, catches it in slow motion. So you can immediately start to add protection where necessary, keeping your iron condor in place in case price action rebounds, right? And what's neat about this 2 to 5 day iron condor strategy that I'm creating here is that your protection can be cheaper than your initial position and yet net you more, because what you're going to have to do is put on the protection as soon as you hear whatever news or whatever shock that is affecting the price of your position, right? So something comes out, a jobs report comes out, another 10 million jobs. Okay, market starts selling out. Boom, immediately I'm going to add some protection to my put side. I'm going to sell some calls there, right? And these calls, right, are still relatively out of the money. But I have news, I have an idea that it's going to be challenged and broken out. So even though it's cheaper, it technically is going to net me more than my initial position, right? So net for net, you can still walk away with profit. And you can do that on either side, right? We can do a short call to protect our put. We can do a bull put spread, right? We can do a bull put spread to protect our call side, right? Let me do a bull put spread here, folks. Hold on. It's getting a little funny here. So we're going to put a bull put spread to protect our put side, all right? So in either way, we protect ourselves. And again, you're going to make sure that, you change this to, 2 or 5 days, right? Whatever is remaining on your iron condor, that's what this has to be. So if you're in a 2-day iron condor or 3-day iron condor, then it has to be a 2-day or 3-day bull put spread, right? Because the idea is that they're going to expire at the same time, or you're going to get a net for net win, right? A net for net win, right? So this strategy requires that your iron condor not be so big that you can't afford to protect yourself. So if you've got a $3,000 account, your iron condor can maybe, be in SPX, maybe $800 max, right? And then if you're challenged, right, it's an $800 position that's going to net you maybe $400, right, or $330, right? And then if you're being challenged, your insurance, it's only going to be another maybe $300 to $400, but yet it's going to net you, it could possibly, it's going to actually be cheaper than that. Hold on. Let's go all the way down to, and again, guys, sorry for that black area here. 2 days. Yeah, there you go. So max, it's going to be about $170. Max profit potential of $840. Again, your insurance is going to it's going to cost you more as price goes down, right? As price rises. As price rises, the insurance goes up. So that's why it's immediately imperative that if you hear some news, right, if remdesivir news drops, and the market's just starting to go insane, then we add on, right? Then we add on. But when we sell a bull put spread before price goes in the money, it's always going to be cheaper than what we get back from it. Again, going back to what I'm saying, net for net, you're going to end up in a winning trade, net for net, right? Even if the Condor loses, your bull put spread, if that expires positive, right? Because again, we don't cut the iron condor because price can come back, right? We still let this expire, right? We're going to hang on to that. And we're just going to get the net positive from whatever it is. Sometimes it's just going to limit our losses, or it's going to net us, we'll walk away with just literally a couple hundred, maybe $200 from what should have been just a pure loss. It's your boy Sal, still working this together, still putting it together. I still need to collect data. I really hope your mind is where I am, because if you're pessimistic about it, I really don't want to hear from you. I mean, I get it. Maybe you're just someone who just can't, deal with the idea that the market is unpredictable, right? Because that's really what it is. It's completely unpredictable. All we're doing is making educated guesses here. And if you're comfortable with the idea that the market is unpredictable and there's nothing you can do about it, you can trade this strategy. All right? There's nothing you can do about it. You're just going to make adjustments as price does its thing. And it is what it is. And I think you can be very successful at this strategy, 2 to 5 day iron condors. If you're not comfortable with the idea of the market being random and that there's really nothing you can do to control it, then maybe you shouldn't even be trading to begin with, right? All right. So, again, it's your boy Sal. I think I'm onto something here. Again, at the end of the day, a strategy is a strategy. You can win at doing anything in the market if it can back test good enough. Is this going to be 100% winner? Absolutely not. But if we can create something that can bring us, capital in a 2 to 5 day span at, winning 7 out of 10 times, that's a game changer. That's a game changer, because that means no longer having to wait, a month and a half to make a considerable amount of money. Till next time, ladies and gentlemen, trade well.